Hi, third grade. Today is our last day to work on our lovely water issue essay. So today we are going to wrap it up and make sure that we revise and edit using our checklist and get it shared with Mrs. Harrison so that we can use, and then we will be using the ideas that we have for this essay for next week's assignments. So it's really important that you get this completed so that you have an opportunity to use some of this for next week for your public service announcement. All right, so the rest of the week, let me click over to here. The first 2 days we worked on this paragraph. Today is our final day for this paragraph. Yesterday, you had an introductory sentence that sort of told what the rest of the paragraph was going to be about, which was the fact that we can do something about this problem. And then you gave some sentences that explained ways you could solve that problem. And then today we're going to wrap it up, just like at the beginning, when we did an introductory sentence to hook the reader. We want to make sure that they follow through, and because this is an opinion essay, we are trying to convince them to do something or to believe something. So let's reread the paragraph so far. Luckily, this is a problem we can solve. For example, organizations like Ryan's Well Foundation and UNICEF raise money to build wells. You could help these organizations by raising money to donate to them. Also, you can make others aware of this problem by sharing your knowledge with friends and family. So here's our last sentence here. So today our learning target is I can write a conclusion sentence and revise and edit my opinion essay. So we need one sentence to sort of wrap it up. Now, in that sentence, we need to make sure that we include our issue. So you'll notice there, because all of my essay has to do with having access to clean water, then that word access needs to be in my final sentence there somehow. And so mine is, would you be willing to help make sure that everyone has access to clean and safe water? So mine is formed as a question. Just like we started with a question, you can end with a question. You do not have to end with a question. You could have something like, it could be a question. You could be like, would you be willing to, and then one of your if you were talking about pollution, would you be willing to make sure pollution is not a problem we have in the future? You could put some sort of positive statement. If we all work together, we can help others get access to clean water. Or it could even be a plea. Please help us solve this problem by helping us get more money for access to water. You can do a question, you could do a plea, you could do a positive statement. This can happen. So you are going to finish up. It just needs to be one more sentence. That's really all you're adding today, is one more final sentence to that right there. And that is not found on your note catchers. That's something you just have to come up with on your own, how you're going to wrap it up, how you're going to convince somebody to help us out. So again, this kind of restates that your water issue needs to be somehow in that sentence. Just a reminder, it's wrapping it up. Just like when at the beginning, when we start our idea, we wrap it up. Okay, so there's your example there. So part of when you are going through this, and I have included at the bottom, we actually have a sentence stem. Would you be willing to help solve this problem? Now, you would probably want to add a sentence for what kind of problem. So again, this is the sentence stem if you're having trouble figuring out what you want to write, but there are some of you that definitely have the ability to come up with your own. Everybody does, actually, but there's if you get stumped. All right, so your opinion writing checklist will be at the bottom of this assignment, and you don't actually have one in your workbook, so you might just have to refer to this as you're going through your work today. So again, we're revising and editing. So we're making sure we have all of these things, and I will go in and show you how to revise and edit. But your opinion writing checklist, my opinion is supported by reasons and evidence from the texts and show a clear understanding of the topic. You want to sound like you know about pollution, and you need evidence from the One Well book or from those articles and those videos. I state my opinion clearly. You have to make sure that you state that this is a problem. I have an introduction that gives the reader some information needed to understand the topic or issue. You've done that if you've included that introduction at the beginning. I list reasons for my opinion. What is the issue? What's the problem? How do we know this is a problem? I give evidence and reasons to support my opinion. So things that the ways that we're going to solve this, you've listed them. That's that sort of blue section on that second paragraph. I use linking words to connect my opinions and reasons. If you've used words like, for example, also, another, those are linking words. If you haven't used any of those, you need to go back and add some. I have a conclusion that restates the focus of my piece. That question at the bottom, or that plea, or that positive statement needs to include your issue inside it. Don't worry about listing your sources. My words and sentences follow the rules of writing. So I have a subject, I have a predicate, and so on. My spelling, capitalization, and punctuation are correct. In a moment, I'm going to remind you of some ways to make sure that that is happening. The words and sentences I use are appropriate for this task and purpose. In other words, if you are really trying to convince us of something, you want to use some pretty strong words. This must be done now. This is super, like you want us to show that it's super important. So those are the vocabulary you're going to use is going to convince us that you understand what you're talking about. So think about how you can include those inside your paragraph. So I'm going to go back over here. You guys can't see. There's my opinion essay. So again, we had yesterday, we did this part here where we had our sentence that somehow got us engaged in this is something there's something we can do about this. Then you gave some examples of things that somebody could do to solve that problem. And then I'm going to include a sentence now that from the sentence stem, if I can find it, would you be willing to solve this problem? Okay, so, I misspelled something. So now here's the revising and editing. So now that you're going to go through your lovely checklist, you're going to make sure everything is in there. One of the things is spelling. So if you were saying any of these red sections, you definitely need some help with that. So you can click on it and it can give you a suggestion. Don't forget that you also have tools with spelling and grammar. You want to make sure that it shows spelling suggestions, grammar suggestions, and so on if you've got some issues. So it says change problem to problem. So there it is. So I can ignore it or accept it. Now, you might have misspelled something so badly that it doesn't have a good choice, and that is a possibility. So in that case, go back, try sounding it out again, and then seeing if it gave you some better choices. But I'm going to accept it, and now it fixed it back, and then it says document looks good. Okay, just make too many problems there. So today, and then make sure that you go up to the share section and share it with Mrs. Harrison. Remember, when it gives you this here, you're going to say LAHA, and then I start appearing in various ways. So that LA Harris, remember, is the one that we usually type in. So you can type either one will get it to me. However, top one is usually the best one. So I'm going to cancel that out because I don't really want to share it with myself. All right, so make sure you share. Make sure you use your tools. Make sure you go back and reread it. And remember, if you want to, I don't have Rewrite Google up here because I'm not a student, but remember, if you go up to the purple puzzle piece and you click on and you get that nice toolbar at the top, you can click on your document and have it and press play and have it read it to you. And sometimes when you do that, you find out that it didn't sound quite like you meant it to sound. And then you can go back and find your mistakes and fix them. Okay, my friends, again, make sure that you share it with me so you can get credit for this week's work, and make sure that you spelled things correctly. You have capitals, you have periods, as perfect as you can possibly make it today. Today, that's what your focus really is, because you only had to add one. It still needed a question mark, didn't it? So make sure that everything is perfect. Reread, have an adult reread perhaps. Make sure that, you don't have, normally we do a peer review and give some stars and steps. We can't do that. because we don't have peers, but you definitely have a parent or an adult that might be able to help you. All right, friends, thanks so much.